Do you want to help solve a cold case? If you do, we have some exciting news. We're teaming up with a very well-known DNA and genetic genealogy company to solve a cold case. In a few weeks, we'll release a video with more details about the case we'll help solve. We'll be doing this through YouTube memberships. Half the money we receive will go to funding DNA testing and genetic genealogy, which will hopefully help solve the cold case. We have 2 membership levels, and both will help solve the cold case. But you'll also get more perks with your membership. With our lowest membership, you'll get loyalty badges, exclusive emojis, early access to videos, and a 15% discount on merchandise. With a higher membership, you'll get all those perks, plus an extra 10% off merch, an exclusive members-only video every month, and you'll be able to vote on the video's topic. But we think the most important aspect of the membership is to help solve the cold case. Once the case is solved, we'll do a video about it, and, with your permission, we'll have your name or username appear in the credits. This is your chance to change from a passive observer to an active participant in solving a murder. With your help, we hope to bring a killer to justice and give a family some closure. Not only will you help solve a cold case, but you'll also be supporting this channel as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please keep an eye out for a video about what crime will help solve. In the meantime, if you're interested in membership, please sign up so you can get early access to videos, the exclusive members-only videos, and other perks. Once again, thanks for watching. Number 3. The Waterford Sheepman. Waterford is a small town in northwest Pennsylvania. In the early 1970s, there were sightings of a half-man, half-goat creature that the locals called the Sheepman. It was tall with gray or black fur, horns, hooves, and glowing red eyes. Over the past 5 decades, there have been hundreds of sightings of this bizarre creature. It supposedly eats farm animals to survive, but it does crave human flesh. Locals say it lives in a cave northwest of the town, but it's also seen near a covered bridge in the southeast part of the town. A local woman, only identified as Marilyn, says she's had several encounters with the Sheepman. One time, she and a few other witnesses saw the creature dart across the road into a nearby brush. Marilyn said she had a second encounter as a teenager in the 1970s. She said, quote, "He was there one night I drove home, and right before I turned into my driveway, there he was, right across the road and into the woods," unquote. Another local, Herb Kinney, claimed that the creature attacked him. He said that lovers used to park on the covered bridge. The Sheepman hid in the rafters and would jump down and attack the lovers. Kinney said that one time he and his friend saw the Goatman attack a young couple. He, his friend, and the couple were able to fight off the creature. Their car's roof was damaged to the point it had to be replaced. Kinney described the creature as having 2 large horns, large canine teeth, and sharp claws for hands. Kinney, his friend, and the young couple told their parents about the incident. The parents feared the story would embarrass them, and they refused to file a police report. Sheepman sightings tapered off at the end of the 1970s. Erie County historian and paranormal investigator Heidi Kurlik-Ledoux investigated the Sheepman claims. She believes that the story originated from the vocational agricultural students leading residents to adopt it as a local legend. However, this doesn't stop locals from investigating the covered bridge, hoping to find the Waterford Sheepman. The bridge, where he liked to attack couples, was closed in 2014 due to structural integrity. The local government eventually plans to restore it, assuming that the Sheepman will let them. Number 2. The Pope Lick Monster. Pope Lick Creek is in the Fisherville neighborhood of Louisville, Kentucky. Since the 1960s, a railroad trestle over the creek has been the haunt of a half-man, half-goat creature. Residents call it the Poplick Monster. Most accounts describe the creature as having the deformed body of a man with legs covered in gray fur. The creature's face is an alabaster color with a beak-like nose, wide set-apart eyes, small horns protrude from its head, and it has long, greasy hair. The legend is that the monster was captured in rural Canada in the late 19th century and then used as a circus freak show. One day, while the circus was on a train traveling through the area, there was a derailment. Everyone on board was killed, and the monster was missing. The monster is allegedly angry about his years of captivity and humiliation in the circus, and he likes to kill humans for revenge. Others believe the monster is a reincarnated farmer who sacrificed goats in satanic rituals. To lure people to the trestle, the monster uses supernatural powers like voice mimicry, telepathy, and hypnosis. Once they are on the trestle, he appears to them. This scares them so badly that they accidentally fall or jump from the trestle. Other versions of the legend say that he hangs from the bottom of the trestle, reaches up through the boards, and holds people until the train runs them down. According to some people, he also kills people with an axe. In 1988, a local filmmaker named Ron Schnillneck directed The Legend of the Poplick Monster, a low-budget short film about the urban legend. Schnillneck said, quote, "There's a lot of innate curiosity about the legend that's continued to this day for some reason," unquote. A representative for the Norfolk Southern Railroad read a statement during one of the film's showing, saying they would prosecute anyone trespassing on the tracks. Tragically, some people have gone looking for the Goatman, or they were possibly lured there and suffered untimely deaths. In 1987, 2 teenage boys died in separate incidents. 7 years later, a man died when his ATV flipped over, trapping him on the tracks. In 2000, a 19-year-old fell to his death after, quote, encountering a train, unquote. In 2016, 26-year-old Raquel Bain and her boyfriend were visiting the area from Ohio. They were unaware that the tracks were still active, and Bain was killed by a train. Her boyfriend survived by clinging to the edge of the track. 3 years later, a train struck and killed 15-year-old Savannah Bright. Her friend, 16-year-old Kaylee Keeling, survived the incident. The trestle, which is over 724 feet long and about 100 feet high, is currently used for rail traffic. The police chief, Sean Dresbach, has publicly warned people to stay away from the trestle. He said, quote, "Stay off the tracks. These tracks are very dangerous. A train comes with little to no warning. You have nowhere to go once you are on the trestle other than to outrun the train. And when you see or hear the train, it's too late," unquote. The police have also said that people on the trestle are trespassing and could be arrested. So perhaps to avoid being arrested or killed, it's best not to go look for the Poplick Monster. Number 1. The Prince George's County Goatman. The Prince George's County Goatman is perhaps one of Maryland's most infamous local legends. According to locals in Prince George's County, a Beltsville Agricultural Research Center scientist was experimenting with animal genetics. One experiment went horribly wrong. He accidentally got some mutated animal genetics in his body. He was then transformed into a hideous goat monster and ran into some nearby woods. For years, he killed animals and humans alike with an axe and then ate them. His alleged hunting grounds were Beltsville and the nearby city of Bowie. If the people wanted to see the Goatman, they drove to a county road, parked the car, and turned off their lights. But the Goatman also tries to lure people. People near the Governor's Bridge, which is just outside of Bowie, have heard a baby crying or a goat bleeding. When they go to look for the source of the sound, they are attacked by the Goatman. It's also rumored that the Goatman drags humans from their home and into the forest where he kills and eats them. The first known recorded sighting of the Goatman was in 1957. A local spotted a large creature wandering in a field. In the early 1960s, the Goatman allegedly murdered 14 campers, 12 of them children, with an axe. The origins of the Goatman legend are murky. In May 1971, 21-year-old George Lazima submitted his final paper in his Introduction to Folklore class at the University of Maryland. He collected 8 accounts of the Goatman. Most of them described him as a half-human and half-goat monster. One person, however, said was an older black man with a long white beard. He lived like a hermit in a shanty close to the bridge. He was self-sustaining and lived off the land. Lazima's paper was shared with the Maryland Folklore Archives. In October 1971, reporter Karen Holster with the Prince George County's News was looking in the archives for a piece for Halloween. She discovered Lazima's Goatman paper and wrote about the Goatman. She was the first person to write about the scientist accidentally turning himself into the Goatman. Her story was published on October 27, 1971. Then, 2 weeks later, Hostler had a new article published. The headline read, quote, "Residents fear Goatman lives. Dog found decapitated in Old Bowie," unquote. The story was about an incident that happened on November 3, 1971. 3 teenage girls saw a tall, hairy creature walking on its 2 hind legs. The next morning, one of the girls found her 10-month-old puppy decapitated. 3 weeks later, the Washington Post published a story about the Goatman and talked about the dog being decapitated. The legend of the Goatman grew after that. In 1994, decades after the initial Goatman hysteria, Maryland folklore expert Mark Ospanek wrote a piece on the Goatman for Strange magazine. Ospanek managed to contact April Edwards, owner of the puppy that was decapitated. She was one of the teenage girls who saw the creature. Edwards said, quote, "People came here and called it folklore, and the papers made us out to be ignorant hillbillies who didn't know any better. But what I saw was real, and I know I'm not crazy. Whatever it was, I believe it killed my dog," unquote. Locals have also claimed to have heard bizarre noises they describe as devilish. Over 50 years since the original encounter with the Goatman, its legend remains. Some locals pass the story from one generation to another. Dr. Barry Pearson is a professor of folklore in the English department at the University of Maryland. He's also in charge of the Maryland Folklore Archives. Dr. Pearson said, quote, "If I mention the Goatman on the first day of class, all the locals know exactly what I'm talking about," unquote. In his class, Pearson talks about the enduring legacy of the Goatman. He said, quote, "Goats are known to be smelly and sometimes kind of charming, but if you look at them closely, especially in their eyes, they are really scary in their own way," unquote. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. If you did find it interesting, please make sure you subscribe. We'll have a new video about the paranormal every week. If you just discovered this channel, please make sure you check out our other channel, Criminally Listed. We have over 325 videos featuring bizarre but true crime stories. You can find it at youtube.com/criminallylisted. We also have a podcast about cold cases that were eventually solved called Criminally Listed Presents Into the Killing. You can find it on Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon Music, and anywhere you find great podcasts. But that's all for today. Thanks again for watching.